I just want to take a second and show you guys what's going on here. It's a little bit crazy. So I got here and they said you can pull into that dock door there. So I was starting to do that, and there was a box truck parked right there, and he's like, hold on, let me get out of the way. So he moved. I'm like, okay. It's a pretty tight lot, you can see here, you know. And then the guy, the forklift operator, comes out and says, actually, I need you in that dock right there. So because of the obstacles on this side, the only way to get in that dock door is a blind back. So it's gonna take a little time, but luckily there's nobody else delivering here right now, so wish me luck. So since I'm not in a huge rush, I'll show you what I'm doing. So I backed into one of those doors, those two perfectly good looking doors that I can't use. And I'm gonna then pull out here, and then there's vehicles, employee cars. So I need to pull forward into there and then do a blind back into that dock right there. So, and then this is the dimensions of the lot, just to give you guys an idea. I did have him move that dumpster right there that was before, it was sitting like right in line of the dock I need to get into. Not the ramp one, this one is the one I'm going for. I wish I could show you guys the whole process, but oh, okay. I'm getting where I feel like I'm getting there. So now I'm doing what I think of as folding it in. Like I'm making a cake or something. But yeah, so now I just need to push my tandems in and back. I think I'm still gonna be a little bit, when I do that, if I keep sort of using the tractor to push this end this way towards where I'm standing right now, and then they'll pivot on the tandems, I'm gonna be a little too far to the right side of the dock door, but that's fine, because once I can get myself lined up to the door to a reasonable extent, then I can shoehorn a little bit forward and backward until I get it right. But I'm getting there, and this is on a first attempt, so that's cool. All right, dude offered to move this truck. I didn't think I really needed him to, but it can't hurt. And I just pushed the trailer back a little bit so I had the wheel all the way to the left to, I don't know how to describe it that well, but now I've got the wheel all the way right to try to bring my tractor back in front of the trailer and finish pushing the trailer back. And I thought, well, as long as he's moving the truck, I'll take a minute to check and make sure I'm not too close to this fence. That's the only thing I'm really worried about right now, but I think in front of me I have more than enough room. Like, that truck really isn't in my way, but I thought, well, what the heck, if he's offering, the universe knows why. All right, just to try to give you guys an idea of what I'm using my hood mirror here to see. Now, you can kind of see if I point, it'll throw off the focus, but it looks like the trailer is pretty well lined up to the dock. Of course, these mirrors distort things, so you can't totally tell, so I'm gonna get out again and look. But then I'm also looking at this mirror to see where the trailer is, and I'm looking at that piece of tape. That thing is a lifesaver. I feel like I need one of those on every trailer because it really helps me see where I am, and that I know where my limit is before I would jackknife. So I'm just pushing it back a few feet at a time and then getting out and looking to make sure. I would rather just, oops, I'm zoomed in. I would rather just do that and, you know, get out as many times as I need, and it's looking really good. So I just got to keep swinging back now with that steering wheel all the way to the right. So I'm bringing myself back in front of my tractor. I'm at no risk of hitting this fence, and I'm good to go. And like I predicted, I'm too far to the right, but as soon as I swung my trailer back in front of my tractor, I was good. I'm nice and straight. I've got all this room in front of me to do the forward backward thing until I get her lined up. Not too shabby. I feel really fortunate that I had that guy moving stuff out of the way. That's always really nice. And then there was no other truck traffic coming through here. So this was a lot easier than it could have been. All right, I figured one last microwave video in this truck. Because as it turns out, this load, this very lengthy unload, it is now, wait, is it 11:30? Did I change the clock over? No, it's 10:30. In my brain, it's 11:30. Is it? I don't know. How long does it take one to adjust to a different time zone? Because I started my day in Eastern time and now I'm in Central. And this was one of those times that worked to my advantage because I was able to use that extra hour that I got back to not have to get up at, you know, a crazy early hour. I got up at 3:15. My brain started to wake me up around 3:10 though. It's like, hey, you should get up soon. But yeah, this is my last load in this truck, and it's cool that now that I've done this a couple of times, I don't feel so stressed about it. I think when I first started driving, and I say this for other drivers who are like new watching this, I guess each of us processes moving differently. And I think moving is inherently kind of traumatic. You know, just changing your living situation creates a situation where you need to change your routines. You know, you have to change your routines. You're changing where you put your stuff. It's interesting because it stirs up these feelings about like your space, your sense of identity, your sense of place, your sense of feeling like centered in the world. And I think that's something that we kind of underestimate if we have lived in the same place for a long time. You know, when I lived in a house for a while, I noticed, I think a lot of people do this, when you get your first house, you just accumulate all this stuff and you think you're going to live there for a really long time. And it goes along with, in my case, and a lot of people, being newly married and thinking you're going to be together forever and you're going to have this house for 20 years, whatever. And so you accumulate stuff and your whole sense of identity is built around all of these things, the stuff, the environment. For me, it was all about the kitchen. I was really into cooking back then. I think about that kind of stuff. And so over time, because of like losses in my life and changes in my work life and all these things, I've had to really adapt my whole concept of place and my concept of home. So living out of a truck is part of that. And I'm happy to say, like, some of you who followed me for a while, you might remember videos where I was like really emotional from about a year ago when I was talking about moving out of my apartment, which I still have mixed feelings about having left that apartment. Financially, I know it was the right thing to do, but it's one of those places that you shouldn't give up. I shouldn't have. I did. I got to live with it. But I'm glad, though, ultimately, in a lot of ways, I'm glad. Now moving from one, I'll most likely be in another Freightliner, Cascadia, I believe. It's going to be very comparable to what I've been in, so that makes me feel less nervous. And if for some reason they were like, all we have are Volvos or something, I wouldn't care, honestly. As long as it's a newer model truck that is in good condition, I'm sure that they're going to have relatively similar features. I'm going to have a fridge in this truck, which will be great because I have a fridge that's borrowed in this truck, but it didn't come with it. So I'll have a fridge. I will have an APU. So to me, I'm good with like a simpler kind of existence in a smaller amount of space. And as long as it has those basic comforts where there's temperature control and there's a refrigerator and a microwave so I can make food, then I got what I need. I've got a bed. I'm hoping the bed is more comfortable than the one that they had in this truck. That would be great. But I'm a very adaptable person is what I've figured out. So I don't feel so sad about leaving. I think even when I left Schneider, I felt kind of weirdly sad. And it was partly because I was only there for like 4 months. I've only been here for about 6 months, a little over 6 months. But I feel like because I had the previous experience under my belt, my mentality, or like where I'm at in my headspace about my driving career or whatever, is really different now. So it doesn't feel like such a quick move. Like, I feel like I'm leaving this job at the perfect time where I've learned what I needed to learn from it. And instead of repeating patterns in my life where I tend to beat my head against the wall when I'm really not feeling a situation and I can tell that it's sort of like there's nothing more I can really gain from it, but I stay with it because of fear of the unknown. I'm really glad that I'm at a point where I'm past that, and it's like, okay, let's, bring on the unknown. Let me do something new and exciting and get out of my comfort zone. And I think that's easier to do when you feel like you're going into a place that is going to have your back. And I do feel like that. So I'm really optimistic about it. But it's a place where because it's such a small company, it's not going to be like 10 or 20 people in the orientation. I think it's just going to be a couple of us, So anyway, that's it. I'm waiting for this load to get done. This has been over 3 hours already. Wait, is it over 3 hours? Let's see. No, it's been 2.5 hours already. Well, no, it's actually been about 3 hours since I got here, almost. And then they didn't start unloading me for about 40 minutes after the time I got in the dock door. And they're just extraordinarily slow unloading. I don't know if that's because of what this is. It's one of those insulation loads, and normally from the company I picked up from it, they often go to Menards stores, but this one went to a different place, and it's real slow. When they go to Menards, they usually take a long time to unload them too, but I think they're probably not that easy to unload. But anyway, that's all I got. I just wanted to share that. I made it into this tricky blind back. That was a fun thing. I actually really liked having to do it, and it was like the perfect setup to do it in, because even though it might not have looked like a lot of space for a blind back, it was kind of an ideal setup because there were no other big trucks in the lot at the same time getting loaded. I didn't have to back around another tractor. There were no other trucks at all in the docks when I did the back. So it was like a wide open space that let me just practice the geometry of the movement, which was great. So that's all I got. I will keep you guys posted on everything, and I'll probably be making more video from when I'm in the hotel and doing orientation and stuff, and let you guys know how it's going. And thank you, by the way. There's a bunch of new people watching my channel. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the subscriptions. It really matters to me, and I'm thankful for that. I'm always wanting to make content that I hope is valuable. So please give me feedback. Put something in the comments if there's something you wonder about, if there's something you would like me to talk about, or if there's anything that you have to say, throw it in the comments, please. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. I will catch you on the next one.